obviously, everybody has heard about this, and it's very sad. James Earl Jones, distinguished actor and voice of Darth Vader, dies at 93. As I said the other day on the stream, when we found out about this, I hope I live to be 93. It's a grand age, isn't it? It's a grand age, and there he is, the great man himself. So we'll read this from Variety. Adam B. Vary and Carmel Dagan. I've just watched today, actually. I just watched the UFO incident. I found it on YouTube. It was just there on YouTube. So I thought, I'll watch the UFO incident. I've seen it before. Where he plays Barney Hill, of the Barney and Betty Hill UFO abduction fame. So he plays a good part in that. Anyway. Right, James Earl Jones, the prolific film, TV and theatre actor whose resonant, unmistakable baritone was most widely known as the voice of Star Wars villain Darth Vader, died Monday morning at his home in Dutchess County, New York. His rep confirmed to Variety. He was 93. After overcoming a profound stutter as a child, Jones established himself as one of the pioneering black actors of his generation, amassing a bountiful and versatile career spanning over 60 years, from his debut on Broadway in 1958 at the Court Theatre, renamed the James Earl Jones Theatre in 2022, to his most recent performance in 2021's Coming to America, which I've not seen. I've seen the original, obviously, but I've never got around to watching Coming to America. And I don't know why, because it's on Amazon, innit? Anyway. For that film, Jones reprised his role as King Jaffe Joffer from the 1988 Eddie Murphy comedy Coming to America, one of several roles, along with Darth Vader, that Jones revisited, including the voice of King Mufasa in Disney's animated feature The Lion King in 1994, the 1998 direct-to-video sequel, and the 2019 remake, and CIA Deputy Director Vice Admiral James Greer in 3 Jack Ryan movies, 1990's The Hunt for Red October, 92's The Patriot Games, and 94's Clear and Present Danger. Among his more than 80 film credits, Jones's other notable movies include a B-52 bombardier in Stanley Kubrick's 1964 Cold War satire Dr. Strangelove, which I've never seen. I've never got round to watching that. Weird. I've never got round to watching it. His feature film debut as the first black president of the United States in 1972's The Man, as the fearsome villain in 1982's Conan the Barbarian. Anyway, less said about that the better. Actually, I didn't mind it. Was it the first one in my Monday Moan series? Films that I don't like, that are generally adored, that I don't like. I think that was the first episode, wasn't it, Conan the Barbarian? But I ended up thinking it were okay. Anyway, as a reclusive author in 1989's Field of Dreams, If You Build It They Will Come, as a blind former baseball star in 1993's The Sandlot, and as a minister living in apartheid South Africa in 1995's Cry the Beloved Country. And Dretch Tiger's here saying, "Yo!" Hang on, sorry, Wingrace, I didn't notice you were replying to me there when I asked about all the news that's fit to stream. No, all the news that's fit to print is a famous slogan. Oh, pardon me, for the New York Times. All right, fair enough. I was paraphrasing it for you. Not having read the New York Times, not being American, I had no idea. But I have no idea about many things, even British things, because I'm an idiot. Jones was nominated for 4 Tony Awards and won 2 in 1969 for playing boxer Jack Johnson. I don't think it's a relation. In The Great White Hope, which he reprised on film in 1970, receiving his only Oscar nomination. That's a surprise, isn't it? Only 1 Oscar nomination in that career. And in 1987 for originating the role of Troy Maxson in August Wilson's Pulitzer Prize-winning drama Fences. He was nominated for 8 Primetime Emmy Awards, winning twice in 1991 for supporting actor in the miniseries Heatwave about the 1965 Watts riots, and for lead actor in the drama series Gabriel's Fire about a wrongfully imprisoned ex-cop who becomes a private detective. It was the first time an actor won 2 Emmys in the same year. Jones earned a Kennedy Center honour in 2002, the Screen Actors Guild's Life Achievement Award in 2009, an honorary Oscar in 2011, and a Lifetime Achievement Tony Award in 2017. Wingress says it's also great in Best of the Best. Again, another film I've not seen. Most of the films that he's been I've not seen. Oh dear. Because they weren't made for me, I suppose you could say. Anyway, an honorary Oscar in 2011 and a Lifetime Achievement Tony Award in 2017. His Grammar Award, I'll never get a Grammar Award. His Grammy Award in 1977 for Spoken Word album makes Jones only one of a handful of actors to receive an EGOT. Jones's looming yet ultimately affable presence and rich speaking voice made him a natural for Shakespeare, and he played some of the great roles such as Macbeth and Othello for Joseph Papp's American Shakespeare Festival. Jones narrated several documentaries from 1972's Malcolm X to the 2007 Disney nature doc Earth, and famously intoned the tagline, "This is CNN," for the cable news channel. His television credits, it's going to go on a while, is this, isn't it? His television credits, which number over 70, include many movies and miniseries such as Roots and the Atlanta Child Murders, recurring roles in LA Law, Homicide, Life on the Street, and Everwood. They don't mention Stargate, Wingress, anyway. And guest roles on shows like Simpsons, Picket Fences, Law and Order, Frasier and House. Has he never done Star Trek? Surely it must have been in Star Trek at some point, but obviously not. As for his most famous role, Jones was paid $7,000 to lend his voice to Darth Vader in 1977's Star Wars A New Hope. Star Wars. But he declined screen credit for that film and its sequel, 1980's The Empire Strikes Back. You know, I never realised he didn't have a screen credit. Or did they add it later? See, I'm going to have to look now. I'm going to have to watch them again and check. Out of deference to the actor who played the role on screen, David Prowse, who were miffed that they didn't use his voice. Here, George, why are you not using my voice as Darth Vader, eh? Because that's what he talked like. Oh dear. Remember, kids, look both ways when you cross the road. It was the Green Cross Code man on British television back in the 80s. By 1983's Return of the Jedi, however, Jones had become fully synonymous with one of the most memorable and terrifying villains in cinema history and received credit for his work. He returned to Vader's voice again for 2005's Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which is probably his only line, I think, was... Padme, is she alive? Is she alright? Or whatever it is, something like that, doesn't it? And then the infamous no! And that was about it, really, wasn't it? Anyway, he did not, but he was considered to play Cisco early on. Was it? I didn't know that. He'd have been a great Cisco, wouldn't he? He'd have punched out Q as well, wouldn't he? Or force choked him. Where were we? Revenge of the Sith and 2016's Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. But for the 2022 Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jones instead authorised Lucasfilm to use archival recordings and AI technology to recreate Vader's voice. You'd think they'd be able to find somebody to do a good impression of him though, wouldn't you? You'd think so. Anyway, when asked in 2014, because surely there's somebody that can do a good Darth Vader voice. Surely. But anyway. When asked in 2014 by the New York Times about how he'd kept his career alive for so long, Jones' response evoked the kind of plain-spoken humility that he had so often brought to his performances as well. The secret is never forgetting that you're a journeyman actor and that nothing is your final thing. Nothing is your... I'm trying to do his voice, but it's not working. Nothing is your greatest thing. Nothing is your worst thing, Jones said with a thing. I still consider myself a novice. James Earl Jones was born in 1931 on a farm in Arcabutla, Mississippi. Is that Mississippi? It will be, won't it? Yeah, it will be. His father, Robert Earl Jones, because there's also Missouri, isn't there? I don't know. His father, Robert Earl Jones, left home soon after to pursue his own acting career. The two more or less reconciled when the younger Jones was in his 20s, and they even performed together. When Jones was 5, he moved with his maternal grandparents to Michigan. The shock of the relocation induced a stammer so severe that he often could communicate only in writing. It wasn't until high school when he started to overcome his stutter, when his English teacher, upon learning that Jones composed poetry, encouraged him to read his writing aloud in class. So similar to the King's Speech, isn't it, really? Because, in the King's Speech, the King has a severe stutter, and, he gets over it, doesn't he, in that? Anyway. As an undergraduate student at the University of Michigan, is it Michigan or Michigan? Michigan, we'll say. Missouri is abbreviated MO, as in Shoeless Joe from Hannibal MO. Well, yeah, but that just said Miss, didn't you? It wasn't. Is Mississippi just MS? I'm just guessing. But that wasn't that Miss. That's not just the 2-letter abbreviation that we know and love. But anyway. But anywho. As an undergraduate student at the University of Michigan, Jones initially set out to study medicine, but wound up more interested in drama. His first stage role was a small part in the 1957 off-Broadway production Wedding in Japan. He took side jobs to supplement occasional theatre work in Broadway's Sunrise at Campobello, The Cool World and The Pretender. He also appeared in Summerstock. In 1960, Jones joined Pabst's New York Shakespeare Festival. The following year, he made his first serious impact in the landmark off-Broadway production of Jean Genet's, that name rings a bell, Jean Genet's The Blacks, as the protagonist. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. As the protagonist, Deodatus, probably mispronouncing that as well. Afterwards, for Pap, he played Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream, the first of many heralded Shakespearean turns. His masterful 1964 performance as Othello for Pap was moved off Broadway, where the production ran for almost a year. Jones' first big break into cinema came by way of Pabst's production of The Merchant of Venice, in which Jones played the Prince of Morocco to George C. Scott's Shylock. When Stanley Kubrick came to see Scott, whom he was considering for one of the leads in Doctor Strangelove, the film director was so impressed that he cast Jones in the film too. In 1966, Jones had the title role in Macbeth at the New York Shakespeare Festival, again to great acclaim. He also booked a recurring role on As the World Turns in 1966, marking the first time a black actor had a continuing role on a daytime soap opera. Still, he was almost one of Broadway's best-kept secrets until 1968 with his performance in Howard Sackler's The Great White Hope as Jack Johnson, the first black man to win the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship. I'll say he's related, since he was a champion. Uncle Jack, I'll call him. The Tony, the acclaim and its timing. That came out wrong, didn't it? I'll start that again. The Tony, the acclaim and its timing in the late 60s propelled Jones into the spotlight at a time when it was difficult for black actors to secure quality roles. The actor, however, has said that the accolades he received for both of the play and its film adaptation did not do that much for his career. It wasn't until 1977, when Jones's voice terrified audiences for the first time as Darth Vader, that things truly began to shift for him. That same year, Jones also appeared in ABC's Roots, playing the author, Alex Haley. Of course he did. I was trying to think. When I saw it, when I saw that he'd been in Roots, I was thinking, oh, did he play in Roots? Because I was thinking of, like Kunta Kinte and the slave people in Roots. And of course he played Alex Haley, didn't he, the author? Dear. Whose genealogical novel of the same title inspired the groundbreaking miniseries. He never quite became an outright star in the classic sense of the word, but the back-to-back successes that year did ultimately make Jones a household name, whose presence connoted a stature and gravitas to projects that might otherwise be lacking. Theatre is where Jones most frequently was a box office draw in his own right, and well into his 80s. He returned to Broadway in 2005 for a production of On Golden Pond opposite Leslie Uggams, drawing another Tony nomination. In 2008, he played Big Daddy in the production of Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof that featured an all-black cast including Terence Howard, Annika Noni Rose and Felicia Rashad. 2 years later, he returned to Broadway in a revival of Driving Miss Daisy opposite Vanessa Redgrave. The production was moved to London in 2011. In 2011, meant he had to miss the honorary Oscars ceremony in Los Angeles. Instead, Sir Ben Kingsley surprised Jones with his statuette in person after he'd concluded a matinee performance of the show. Jones was first married to actress-singer Julianne Marie. His second wife of 34 years, actress Cecilia Hart, died in 2016. He is survived by his son Flynn Earl Jones. Is that it? Yes, that's it. There we go. So, a great man, and genuinely a legend, genuinely one of the most respected actors of this generation. And it's very sad he's gone, but 93 is a good age. We all knew it was coming, didn't we? We know that it's happening a lot lately, though, isn't it? A lot of people are popping the clogs, it seems. But anyway, so it's very, very sad. But as I said, a grand old age, and I hope I get to live that long. I don't think I will. Somehow. Might not make 60, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed.